On installing the GTR Ultra 2 LED onto the GSXR 600. I have spent way too much time trying to mess with these stupid little adapters. This is one of the adapters that actually came for an HID kit, and I ended up dremeling it down in several areas to try to get it to work properly, and it just really never fit properly. I did order another set of adapters from DDM Tuning that supposedly work with their Sabre 55 watt Pro, but they don't have a lifetime warranty, so I went with the Ultra 2 for my low beam. Anyway, the whole point of this video is if you have a GSXR, this is an 06, but I think the 05, 07, whichever ones use that stupid adapter. This bulb right here, it's set up for an H7, of course, and of course the adapter can be fit on there, but it doesn't really do a lot of good, at least that I have noticed in my experience. So what I did was, just real quick, I'll show you. I had some problems with the plug melting. I don't know if that's a common thing. It seems like Suzuki can't get any of their electrical stuff right, because the set valve was a problem on this thing, and the rectifier is a problem on this thing, the stator is a problem on this thing, and the headlight plug is a problem, and God knows what else. What I did was I bought a ceramic H7 plug, and it's, the plug that comes on it is wider. It's actually more of an H4 width. It just doesn't use that bottom terminal. H4s use three prongs, and this one only uses 2, but the width was the same as an H4. I just did away with that. I just put an H7 plug on here, ceramic, so it's a little bit more heat resistant, and this is what I'm using now. So I can use an H7 bulb and use an H7 plug. I don't have to use a stupid adapter or any of that crap. So one thing that I noticed after messing with this for way too freaking long was that when you put this in here, if you push it in into where it's actually seated properly, it's really not very easy to pull it back out. It's almost like a press fit in there. There's no need for a spring to sit this thing in here anymore. So if I put it in and push it in, with a little bit of force, it's gonna go right where it needs to go, and it's not gonna go anywhere. It's a nice solid fit, and it's not gonna go anywhere. The beam pattern looks great once I plug it in, but I push it in there, and it doesn't want to go anywhere. So I'm going to lightly tug on the wire right here. See that? It's not moving at all. It's very well fit in there into the H7 slot. So I was messing with some shimming and things like that because I thought the beam pattern wasn't right, and then I realized that it was basically because I was using that adapter and it wasn't working properly, and the bulb really was not sitting in the headlight like it should have been. You need your LEDs to be facing 9 and 3. So that's basically how they're facing right now. They're facing at 9 and 3. You probably can't tell. I turn it on, you might be able to tell. So it's right at 9 and 3 right there. You can tell by the little nub at the top. It's pointed straight up towards that center reflector. And then the beam pattern looks really good. Okay, that's a pretty solid looking beam pattern there. And the high beam is right where it needs to be as well. So really at the end of the day, what I did was I removed the spring completely. So I got a little bitty screwdriver like this, and I took the spring out. So there's a screw that holds the spring in. You don't have to remove the screw all the way. There's just a little screw right there. You loosen that screw up right there, and just get it just loose enough to pull this spring out. And then you don't have to fiddle with the spring anymore, because the spring doesn't really want to go around the HID or the LED assembly anyways, because the LED assembly is so fat because of that fan in the back. So just take the spring out. And once you have trimmed the boot sufficiently that goes around the fan assembly, the boot itself is going to hold on to that bulb nice and tight as well. So the chance of it shaking off from vibration and stuff is extremely low. Like, I have this thing basically cut out to the exact size it needs to be to hold this thing very tightly. I actually have to kind of tuck the boot around the edges of the bulb because it, you know, you have to kind of work it in there. But this is ideal. Just don't even bother with an adapter. You know, the DDM stuff that I ordered, it might work, the adapter might work, but at this point, why mess with it, right? Like, it works the way it is, you know, unless it happens to fall off like every day of riding. I don't see what the point really is of the adapter at all. So what I would recommend is just, if you get a GTR Ultra 2, you put it in your Suzuki GSXR or any other Suzuki with that stupid adapter. Just take the spring out. Don't bother with an adapter. Just press it in there nice and tight, nice and firm. It's not going to shake around. It's not going to want to come out, right? And put the boot over it, and you're done. And maybe change the plug out too to an H7 plug, so you don't have to, you know, do all this other crazy shit, you know, with other plugs and other adapters. Just cut the wire off, cut the plug off. It's probably melted anyway. And then you have an actual, you know, H7 socket here. I got 2 for like $8 on Amazon or something. So that's what I'd recommend. Like I said, beam pattern looks great. I'll go ahead and shut the garage door lights off real quick, and you can see what the beam pattern looks like. That's really good. There's a little bit of scattered light up above here. But you know, it's just the name of the game really with this stuff. But there's the high beam and there's the low beam. As you can tell, the high beam is kind of where it should be. And look how much dimmer it is too compared to the LED. Like, that's pretty awesome, right? Anyway, just figured I'd post that, and that it would kind of inform people in case they were having trouble, because I don't know what it is with H7 bulbs especially. They're notorious for having these ridiculous adapters. And if you can get away with it, just don't even bother with those stupid things, you know? See if you can just get away with the boot. Boot's a stabilizing piece, and the bulb itself is machined to such fine tolerances that you can just sort of put it in and it stays. All right, hope this helped.